Meet the Mathewsons. They're a dynasty of dealers.
It drives really well.
With a love of classics.
It's only condensation.
In Thornton-le-Dale, gateway to the North York Moors, they auction over 2,000 rare vehicles every year.
42,000, the ready type, the stunning car.
All walks of life. The cars fetch people together.
I'm ecstatic.
Head of the family, Derek.
It's got to be the best job ever, isn't it? We're sort of living a dream.
Trusted lieutenants, sons Paul
Not everybody's cup of tea.
and Dave.
There's Dad's way, and there's Dad's way.
Keeping them all in check and dealing with the punters, Sarah.
Somebody could ring today with some fabulous vehicle that's been sat in a barn for 50 years. You have no clue.
It's the chase, it's finding it. So you get up every morning thinking, what am I going to find today?
This is a family's love affair with cars that have lived a life.
Someone's cherished a car and loved it, and I think it's just great. I think it's absolutely superb.
A passion that can be turned into brass. On sale this week.
1967 Aston Martin DB6. Without question, the best looking car in the world. Going to make phenomenal money.
Derek, you have told me on many occasions that he could be the next James Bond.
Vincent Rapid C Series. I should stress and make people aware that if you don't buy this Vincent, then in their lifetime they will never get another opportunity to buy one like that. 1958 Mercedes Unimog 404 fire engine.
Oh, look at this. What an absolute stunner. New company vehicle, defo.
It's the start of another busy day at the Mathewsons.
Lovely.
Between auctions,
No, we've never had it running, no.
Derek spends a lot of time on the phone.
Pontefract, oh, crumbs, by the coast.
His patter follows a pattern.
I do hear little snippets. And he'll say, hi, I'm just ringing you back. You say you've got a...
TR4? Yeah.
For example, and the vendor will say, oh, yeah, blah, 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 and start talking. And then Derek will say...
I bought one myself fairly recently. MGC Roadster.
And then he'll speak to somebody else.
S03 Bentley. I've got an S2. We've got a J-Type. We've got a J-Type.
He must have hundreds of them.
Some of Derek's more tempting personal assets are on show at the garage. Customers may look, wonder, desire and dream. These are road-ready family treasures.
Is this one for sale there?
No, I'm part of the family, John, this one.
Just being in the presence of an Aston Martin DB6 is enough for some people to think about owning a classic, even though very few could afford one of these.
It's one of Mum and Dad's favourites. One of Mum's favourites in particular. She's always liked it. We used to go out as kids all the time in it. It was always a case of, right, feet on the mat, don't touch the windows, don't do this, don't do that. The prices have just gone astronomical, haven't they? Just ridiculous now. 20,000 to 250,000, it's just crazy, isn't they?
So you've kept your fingers off the windows even today then?
Nah, crack on and use it now.
They're elegant old thing, aren't they? No matter which way you look at them, they've got some sort of style, haven't they? I bought it something around about 35 years ago, and it was basically stolen, damaged, and sold off by an insurance company. I think I gave £5,500 for it.
Well, he has told me on many occasions that, you know, he could be the next James Bond, and I didn't quite believe it. But now I've seen him in the Aston, and he is right, yeah. If there's like James Bond senior service for the older generation.
Commander Derek Bond's excuse for firing up his triple SUs is to remind himself of Aston's values. An unrenovated version of this ultra-rare car is about to come in to be auctioned. He knows that putting a price on it is going to be tricky.
In 1989-ish, I got a phone call from an old friend of mine and a dealer down in the home counties. Will you sell me the Aston? He said I could bring up 85,000 in cash tomorrow, pick it up. I said, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you. When it hits 100,000, I said, don't ring me, just turn up. And if you turn up with it, I'll have to take it. And he said, fine. He said, I'll see you in about 6 weeks. And I thought, oh dear, what have I done? And I had 6 nervous weeks really, but I needn't have done, because by week 7, or as quick as that, the crash had come and it had nosedived, and you could have bought this car for 15,000 quid.
A 1928 Delahaye truck is being repositioned from its prime spot in the showroom to make way for the new arrival. Dry stored in a barn for 32 years, but with only 25,000 miles on the clock, this 1967 DB6 could become the most expensive vehicle ever to be sold at Mathewsons. Yorkshire tractor manufacturer David Brown bought Aston Martin after seeing an ad in the Times offering a high-class car manufacturer for sale. He handed over £20,000, and so began Aston's age of sporting triumph and glamour. The company put all their engineering expertise into building great endurance race cars, and they won at Le Mans in 1959. The fast touring cars followed, and Aston's most elegant decade had arrived. The silver birch DB5 was the Bond car. Aston took a bit of persuading to hand one over for the filming of Goldfinger, but after it was fitted with a few extras, they had created the most enduring and successful bit of product placement ever. The DBS was the last throw of the dice for the golden brown years at Newport Pagnell. They still made great handmade cars, but not enough of them. In 1972, the debts were paid off, and Brown sold Aston Martin as a going concern for £101. The DB6 at the garage is being sold by the family of a private collector based in Yorkshire who has passed away.
Without question, the best looking car in the world.
Yeah, okay. Let's kick them up.
But there's just something about them, they're just so stylish. Everybody thinks they're the most elegant car. Everybody agrees with other people when they comment that they think they're the most elegant car, so there must be something in it.
And what do we reckon an elegant car in that condition's worth?
I'm not going to be drawn into it because I really don't want to commit myself over much, because it could be absolutely anywhere. It's going to make phenomenal money. Let's be fair, it's going to make more money than it's really worth.
You still see them, do you?
You don't see them, so when you got the opportunity to buy one, you must buy one. Assuming you want one and you've got the money to buy one, of course they're not cheap, are they?
The classic car grapevine keeps tabs on rare and valuable cars, and Derek has known about this one for many years.
I'll tell you something now. I had a bunch of cars out of a shed, and when I walked into this shed, there was a row of cars on the left-hand side, and this Aston Martin was lurking over in the far corner, and I just had to keep looking away like this and looking at these cars down here, because these are the ones that I was dealing with. These are the ones that I'd come to do a deal with. Fingers crossed. Wait until it comes to you. And sure enough, it did.
While all the fuss about the Aston has been going on, more vehicles have been arriving for the auction, along with essential traffic furniture.
Derek, I've heard that the crossroads at Thorntondale is absolute chaos at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was late last night, but I did manage to get them away without anybody seeing me.
What's that? I don't know.
What Derek's grandson Jack doesn't realise is that this bike, which looks a bit worn out, is going to set the hearts and wallets of older bikers on fire.
For one of those in good running order, you'll pay £50,000.
In 1949, this was the world's fastest standard motorbike, the Vincent Rapid.
It's a proper bike in proper condition. The frame again's not all pitted. It's been cared for, been stored properly. The guy that buys that, if he's anything about him, he could have that running in a day. And as far as the restoration, you know, we have guys and they say things, yeah, but it wants restoring. There's a lot of money to restore it, you know. Well, it can't be a lot of money, can it? Let's face it, it's only a tiny looking thing. So whoever does that will find it a very rewarding job. And we've got a guy, and he said, I'm going to fix the exhaust and I'm going to use it as it is. And I said, well, that's blooming great. I think that's brilliant. You know, I should stress tomorrow and make people aware that if you don't buy this Vincent, then you know, the chances are, in their lifetime, they will never get another opportunity to buy one like that.
Just like the Aston Martin, there are hardly any unrenovated Vincent Rapids around. News of its arrival has spread far and wide.
Canada, America, Australia.
Lovely for the guys abroad, I love them, but I think I'd really like to see stuff like that stay in this country so that maybe we can all see it or our kids can see it in 10 years' time. But anyway, the guy's got a figure in his mind, and I said the fairest way to do it is submit the best bid. Save wasting people's time. We've told everyone it's got to be above 30,000. Where above 30,000, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to finish, but whatever it finishes at, the figure will be put in front of him, and he'll say yes or no. And if it's a no, I'm sorry, but it's not acceptable, and that's that.
The Aston has pole position in the showroom. It's turning heads, and potential bidders are queuing up in Sarah's inbox.
Right then, so these three are all for the Aston, yeah?
Yeah.
Derek is ensuring maximum visibility.
Nice clean windows, you know. Can't tie. Bought my first car out of window cleaning. £500 a house it was bloody hard work. Had the biggest pair of heavy wooden ladders you ever seen in all your life.
Hello, it's Sarah here at Mathewsons. I was just ringing to confirm you'd still like to go ahead. Some people are throwing around 40,000, some people are talking 140,000, so who knows? Yeah, of course, we'll take 5,000, and if you're not successful, it will be refunded on Sunday. So this one we need to try and call. This gentleman is letting us know. Bye, Lucy, it's fine, you just leave us. Just go, it's fine. Don't worry. You know, it's okay, just leave me to do all the work. You don't like tomatoes?
No. Do I look like the kind of girl that likes tomatoes?
Not unless they're in a cake.
Derek always likes to be informed about the cars he's selling, but for something like the DB6, he's happy to go on a full fact-finding tour, otherwise known as a jolly. He's heading to Durham to visit John Gray at the Aston Workshop, one of the UK's leading Aston restoration specialists, and home to some of the finest examples around.
This one's for you.
Yeah, ooh. Well, this is the Zagato. Yeah, wow.
There you go.
Wow, look at that.
We've got two in build for customers. We've got one spare at the moment. So,
superb, isn't it? What will that be going on?
They're going to come out around the £1 million mark.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? What's that one doing here?
Derek has spotted a rare Lagonda LG45 from the mid-30s.
Is that a sales car?
That's a sales car, yeah.
Ah, it's superb, isn't it?
A
Yeah.
lot of car for your money with it.
A lot of car for your money, yeah, yeah. Beautiful wings, shape of the wings. Just ooze quality, don't they?
Yeah.
This is gorgeous, though. What's he asking for that?
I think it's about 170, 180, I think. centre throttle and no synchro mesh on the gearbox.
Ah, that's the way to do
Interesting.
it. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, supercar, proper car.
Yep.
Bonny looking thing.
Do you need one for the collection, Derek?
Not for the collection, John, no, definitely not, no, but I was thinking about trimming down. We've got a lot of basic run-of-the-mill things, you know, in our collection. We've got quite a big collection of cars, but there are all sorts of things. And most of them are fairly mundane, really, and I think you'd have too many vehicles taking up too much room. And I think the idea is get rid of a dozen maybe and replace it with one.
Yeah.
No, it's just, I don't know what it is. It just appeals to me. I just like the style of the bonnet and the actual length of it and such like, and yeah, I could live with that, I think.
Also present, several DB6s. The reason for Derek's visit. They don't come cheap.
Yeah. What sort of price is that?
I think it's around 375, 380.
Yeah.
Which for the level it's at is very good.
It's a nice car, isn't it?
Yeah. We built to original or
Yeah.
whatever spec anybody wants.
Yeah.
And it's pretty endless what you can have.
I was just interested to know what a full rebuild cost would be on something like the Aston Martin we've got, which is in a pretty poor state.
Yep. Condition-wise, they all start about the same, whatever the condition. So we'd look around the £300,000 mark.
Yeah. And that's all the way through, trim, the lot.
Yes, it's what we class as full restoration is the body off.
Yeah.
Back down to this bare chassis.
Yeah.
And every nut and bolt.
So, once you've added the VAT, there's no money left to buy the original unrenovated car. But in this world, that's not exactly how it works.
It's a common thing, isn't it? So you spend so much on the car and then so much having it done and you don't get it back.
Oh God, no. Well, that's the beauty of restoration, isn't it? I mean, it don't work, does it? But fortunately, most guys that buy these, they're not over too bothered about that, are they? They're quite happy to be in like a 100,000 deficit, aren't they?
It's because they get what they want, and how they want it and why they want it.
That's why I think the one we've got there now will cause more interest than it should, because the guy who buys that will have it restored to what he wants, to his level.
John's kindly offered to come over and value the Aston, even though he already knows it's not going to be cheap.
It's fantastic.
Derek may still take an auctioneer's punt to attract more bidders by not putting a reserve on it.
Derek, great to see the skill level craftsmanship of work here.
Yeah, oh, without doubt, yeah. And you know, people like John, who's so knowledgeable, you know, and I know a bit about Astons, but DB6s, DB3, stuff like that, but not a great deal really, but I mean, he knows everything, doesn't he? He's such a clever lad.
It's the day of the auction, and leather-clad punters converge on the village to eye up an iconic 50s superbike, the Vincent Rapid.
So the guide plate you look at on the Vincent?
On the Vincent, it submit offers over 30,000.
Over 30,000 on it.
Cheaper items also up for auction.
What have you got in there?
Toy cars and a snap-on toy garage.
Excite batteries.
Is that expensive?
No, it's about £130 or something.
With over 300 lots of memorabilia,
40, 45, 45, 45 pound this side, 50.
Sarah is attempting to keep confusion to a minimum.
Some stuff came in when we were full, so we need to move them, because otherwise people go, is that in the sale? Can I buy that? And you go, no, why can't it? But it's here, can't I buy it today? And you go, no. And they don't take them for an answer. So if we take them out of view, they don't know what they're missing.
Front and centre though, the Vincent Series C. For those in the know, an opportunity not to be missed.
I thought it was the 500cc, but it's the 1,000 I wanted. I'm going to mortgage my house and going back home. Fabulous.
Biker Terry leaves a bid on the table.
So if we give you a debit card detail, yeah?
Then continues on his tour of Yorkshire.
A Vincent Rapid C Series from the most genuine guy, genuine family. You come across the bike thinking he might want to do something with it, maybe do it up in his retirement. He's decided he's not got enough time. Bids above 30,000. There's no point even ringing him with a bid below 30,000 for obvious reasons. when this is looking nice, if it's ever done up, it's 60,000. There it is, 1949 Vincent Rapid C Series, start me on it, whereabouts, got a bit in me books here, start me in the hall, whereabouts, 40, whereabouts, 35, come on then, 30, 30,000 I've got, 30,000, 31, 32, 33, 33, 34, 34,000, 35, 35,000, submitting then, 35,000, 35,000 pound, 35, 35, 35, 5, 36, 36, going then, 36, 5, 36, 5, 37, 37,000. Where can you find them like this? Never again. 37,000. You will not find them like this. 37,500, 37,500 on the phone. Submitting it. Are you all done? I'm submitting it then. 37,500 for the first. 37,500 for the second. 37,500 third and last time. 37,500 provisional.
A quick check with the vendor confirms the sale. Sarah, the first to congratulate the phone bidders, a retired couple from the south of England.
Oh, bless him. He's very excited, is he? It just shows you're never too old. Definitely. Brilliant. We're really pleased that it stayed in the UK because we did have a lot of international interest on the bike, so it's just nice to see it stayed in the UK. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, lovely, lovely lady.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's been riding since he was 15, Vincent. Always wanted one, could never afford one. And he's just turned 70 and now he's got one. Fantastic. I love a story like that.
Mathewsons bring the hammer down on many desirable classic motorbikes and cars, but there's another category of heavier heritage that attracts attention: commercials. Today, something a bit different has arrived. Paul and Charlie, keen to check out the 1956 Green Goddess.
She's a big old girl, isn't she? Bedford's answer to the fire engine, really, wasn't it? There weren't a lot of good, but they were there. They were to reassure the public, weren't they?
Hundreds of these self-propelled pumps, as they were known, were produced for auxiliary use in the event of a Soviet nuclear attack. But they saw action with the army in 1977 and 2002 during the fire service strikes.
Big old searchlight on there, look. Wobbler about. Brilliant, isn't it? Look at the big old switch box up here, look. Interior lights, reversing light, convoy light. Siren, two-tone. I think it's a fabulous old van, me. Big old six-cylinder petrol, look, big oily old thing. Be hot, wouldn't it, on a hot day? Oh, can you imagine going out on a summer's day?
In theory, it could still pump water, but it won't go above 30 miles an hour, and its ladder only stretches to the second floor of a house. Lumbering commercials like this, though, still have a strong following.
I'd have no qualms in driving it off home, no problem at all. Wouldn't bother me. Yeah, I think it's great. You could go around the local rally circuit, couldn't you? You know, the shows. It's got character.
And it's not alone. Potential bidders with a fetish for fire appliances usually have to wait ages for one to turn up. But now, a second has arrived.
Where's the fire? We're going to get one started in a minute.
This is a Mercedes Unimog appliance, used for carrying emergency generators, jacks and hand tools.
Oh, look at this. What an absolute stunner. New company vehicle, defo. Can ring my bell any day of the week, mate. Brilliant, I love it. Did think, you know, guys could like treat me once in a while. If they're going to fetch a little fire engine in, at least have a couple of buff firemen in there. Although I am getting now an image of Derek in a fireman's uniform.
The Unimog was built in 1958 and spent most of its working life at Manchester Airport.
Derek, what do you think to the Unimog?
Horrible.
Why don't you like it? Because it's not useful.
It's not got an Aston Martin, a Bedford or a Jaguar badge on it.
It's very niche, isn't it? You're not going to have 100 people turning up to buy this. It's going to be a talking point, isn't it? If you've got a fire going on, how fast is that going to get to a fire?
Oh, as long as you keep the fire going, it'll get there. Be there in 24 hours, wouldn't it?
After Derek's fact-finding visit to the Aston workshop, his host, John Gray, became intrigued by the DB6 on offer at Mathewsons. This is a man who's used to seeing past the dust and grime.
We've looked at write-offs and scrap cars. We've seen cars in boxes. The best ones for restoration, or what's deemed as a true-born find, they bring strong money usually at auctions because they're complete. Everything's there and you can rebuild with confidence. It's all very standard under there. No optional extras. The full dashboard is complete, which is good. Window catches, window frames, all these things sometimes vanish. And I've seen a lot worse trim in running Astons than this is. It's surprisingly good.
This Aston Martin was hand-built by a team of craftsmen in 1967. The evidence still exists that they didn't always do things by the book.
You have the headlight fixing in place, secured by a screw, and next to it is the flasher. Here we have no clearance whatsoever. If we go to the next side, the left-hand side, we look at exactly the same position. Headlamps cover, flasher unit, and there we have a nice little gap in there, probably 1/4 inch or more.
Would you keep the imperfections?
Personally, yeah. Yeah, that's what gives it its identity.
With the assessment complete, John can now put his value on it.
Well, a year or two back, I would have said 120,000. Prices have levelled, so we'd put the value of this at around the £100,000 mark.
The Green Goddess and Unimog fire appliances from the 50s are being prepared for auction. Head of car washing Jeff is helping out.
He's now sticking them up ready for the sale. You watch it, he'll get all them bubbles out now. Even though his name is Mr. Bubbles, he will do away with them bubbles there now. If he can get it off again, that is. They're 70 pence each, them, Jeff. I'll make a note of how many you've ruined and you can square up later on. Look at that, see what I mean? You don't learn that at senior school, do you?
The Unimog has had an extensive renovation done on it, and today, owners Kaz and Anne Mako are here to make sure it's settled in okay.
I got it off a friend of mine, and it was in the St Helens Transport Museum. When we got there, it was stuck in a corner, and I said to the lads, I've come to collect this unit as I want to restore it. They thought I was a very ill man. And they said, look, it's been there for over 25 years in that corner. We don't know if we can get it out. There was petrol tankers in the way, and they phoned me up after, I think, about 2 months to say, OK, we've managed to get it out, and we've got it in the front of the museum now, so you can send a low loader for it.
Having got it home, the hard work started.
We've got it stripped down completely with no cab on, no body on, chassis in bits, all the wheels off and everything. Yeah, it's a million bits while he was overhauling it, you know.
The one thing we didn't do, I left the inside original. I haven't touched the inside. It's as we got it with all the switches and the controls.
The word basic springs to mind.
The word basic, yes. And weren't they basic in them days?
The added complexity, and indeed irony, is that this fire engine is partly made out of wood.
It was too unusual a vehicle to leave dead. And I knew that if I could get my hands on it and restore it, it would be something unique and special. Because there isn't another one, it's the only one in the world. This is history. If we lose our history, we've lost everything.
It's auction day in Thornton-le-Dale. Hundreds of sensibly sized classics on offer, but for ex-fireman Robert Titchmarsh, it's the colossal Green Goddess that rings a bell from his past.
Joined the Fire Brigade in March '67, and this is the vehicle they use for training, and you actually took your heavy goods test in it. A big beast to manoeuvre. Other than that, good fun. Straight panels. It doesn't look as if it's got a lot of dents and scrapes, and which they usually ended up with. Years of abuse, after they left the service. They ended up on farms and airfields and all over the place.
The Green Goddess, 1956, lovely condition, low mileage, obviously. Bedford Green Goddess fire engine, where 3, 2, 2002, 4, 24, 26, 2600, 28. Submitting 2800 is the 3, 28 last time. 3,000 pound, 3,000 pound, standing, 3,000 pound. Gonna submit it, it'll sell, I'm sure. 3,000 pound, G the bidder, 3,000 pound, 3,000.
Frequent buyer Graham Morrell bags himself a cheap goddess. Now, a good home needs to be found for the cherished Unimog.
I'm surprised to see it, actually. I'd never see one for years, and then I turn up here, and the first thing I see is this. We used to have one of these actually on the camp when I was in the army in Germany. I was a mechanic, but I drove it a few times. Too old for it now.
1958, Mercedes Unimog 404 fire engine. Had a fortune spent on it, recon engine, all the rest of it, loads and loads of work done on it. Start me there, we're going to be, whereabouts 4, we're off, 4002, 4, 46, 46, 48, 4008 and going then, 4008, submitting 4008, 5,000 on the phone. Is the 2 anywhere? 5,000, you're out in the hall. £5,000, worth a lot more. £5,000 on the phone. £5,000 for the first, second, third and last time. 5,000.
Kaz was about 10 grand off getting his money and effort back.
Right, Cashy, last photo.
But that's not really what this is about.
Well, I'm very happy it's been sold, because with an unusual vehicle like this, you never know. But it sounds like it's gone to an enthusiast, so that's very important to me, obviously. And I hope that they enjoy owning it. And it's not bad on fuel, so hopefully they'll drive it around, you know.
Mathewsons have been in business for over 45 years.
My dad used to take me out, all school holidays was in the lorry.
They've auctioned thousands of desirable
6 traction event, magnificent.
And unusual classics.
Fairground, Optimus merry-go-round.
Some go for relatively small amounts of money.
875.
Others for substantial sums.
The Alpha 38.
But there's a milestone they've never quite reached for a sale. £100,000. The Aston Martin DB6 barn find from 1967 could change that.
Desirable. Somebody wants it, they're going to pay for it, aren't they?
Some early viewers, though, cautious about the idea of taking it on.
You'd have to spend £250,000 to get this up to scratch. It's amazing that people let cars get to this stage.
It's a shame.
25,000 on the clock.
It's a shame. You think if you're going to put it away, you'd cover it up at least.
Yeah, at least.
Leave it open like that.
With £300,000 renovation costs on top of whatever it sells for, the Aston's new owner is going to be out of pocket. It just doesn't add up, if sums are your thing. But there is another way. Buy one already done up and on the road.
I've got a 1967 Aston Martin DB6. Does about 150 miles an hour.
Russ Swift is a professional stunt driver, and he bought his DB6 for a fair bit less than the hefty cost of renovating one, which leaves him with the spare cash for a driving holiday.
It's been a dream of mine to own one since I sold one for £500 40 years ago.
sort of typifies it, a quintessentially British grand touring car that rivals Ferrari and any other great marque of the day.
The phrase is usable classic. It means a car you want to drive that hasn't broken the bank. It may have a few imperfections, but they are outweighed by the sheer pleasure of getting behind the wheel.
None of my cars would win a concours competition because every time we take them out they get a stone chip on them, or somebody leans against them or scratches them at a car show. The last thing I would want is to have a museum with cars I could just look at. I'm a driver, I love driving. I get so much satisfaction out of a car like this. They demand a lot more concentration and far more interesting than modern cars. They weren't built to be driven long distances. These are sort of the cars that you would drive down to the south of France in for a weekend, and made that sort of thing possible for the first time.
Back at the garage, it's delivery day for the Green Goddess.
Oh man. Oh man, she might have to have a sniff.
Woohoo! She runs!
We're away then. We're gonna miss it.
No. Very professional.
Alright, your side.
You mean you hope so?
Paul and Charlie are taking the Goddess to new owner Graham Morrell, who has a bit of a thing about emergency vehicles. And hopefully a decent-sized garage.
Which is a big old thing, isn't it?
Slow it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your house would be burnt down by the time you get there.
I think you might be onto something.
I've got an ambulance based on a Vauxhall Victor, which is quite a lot smaller than this.
Yeah, it's fairly big. Quite a presence on the road, like, you know. But do you know what? It drives really well. Spot on. Don't try and do any emergency stops, but they're all right, they're there. Yeah, get yourself in there.
So that one back, that one forward.
Yeah, that's the gear stick, yeah.
That's the
Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah. Yeah, starter button.
Yeah.
Main gear stick.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, four-wheel drive.
Ah. Yeah, it will be on it. Of course it will, yeah.
Four-wheel drive.
Of course it will.
It's all good fun, isn't it?
Like a big boy's toy, innit? I'm sensing many of hours of fun here.
Fantastic.
There doesn't have to be a reason for owning a Green Goddess. But Graham does have a plan.
One idea is to turn it into a gin bar and go around the shows. Not just gin, you know, beer, wine. When the tank's full of water, it makes them top heavy. If you go around the corner too fast, you can actually tip them over. So I think it'd be better if we put the beer and the wine lower down to give it a lower sensory gravity.
It's the day of a very special auction. The DB6 could be the most lucrative sale Mathewsons have ever had. But it's not for the faint-hearted. Aston and Jaguar owner Robert Hall has experienced the pleasure and the pain.
I've done a DB5. My XK140 took 8 years. And to find somebody who can do that at a reasonable cost is really impossible.
Are you going to have a go?
Yes, I think so. But I think if we get somebody coming in and thinking this is a 12-month project and it doesn't need much doing because the bodywork is sound, I'll be dropping out very quickly indeed. But I am serious and I would buy it at the right price. Absolutely, I would.
1967 Aston Martin DB6. Known of the car for many, many years, known the family for longer. We've got some telephone calls. I know we've got an absentee bidder. There we go. See how we go. Rather start in the hall than on the absentee bids or telephone bids. Whereabouts? Give you all a chance. 80, 80,000. 80 I've got. 80, 5, 90, 5, 95, 95,000, 95,000, 100. We're going to submit it to the family. They'll make their mind up. 100, 105, 105, 110, 110. 110, 110,000, 110,
115, 115 on the telephone, 120, 120 in the hall, 120. No matter what the bid is, it's got to be submitted to the vendor. 120. We get an answer immediately. 120. 120. It's only money, tell him. 120. We're submitting. 120. 120. Gentlemen there, quite eager to pay. Look, 120,000. I know, yeah, I know. 120,000. Are we all done? 120. I'm going to submit 120. 120 for the first, 120 for the second, last time, 120, third and last time, 120. There you go, sir, 120. Have you got a number? 260.
The hammer down at £120,000. Sold to the committed Aston enthusiast in the hall.
It's something just to have, really, and to keep, and to enjoy.
But due to an unforeseen change of circumstances, the deal falls through, and the phone bidder secures the car by upping his bid to match the one in the hall, and promptly ships it out to start its expensive renovation.
I was just concerned for the vendors, because I mean they're a lovely family, and I was keen to do right by them, and I was very, very pleased and feel privileged that they chose us to do it. So it's, yeah, you break that 100,000 barrier, you know. So now we've got to aim for the £1 million barrier.
A year later, and the new owner of the old Aston, Anthony Green, is in Derbyshire, browsing other desirable cars at an exclusive dealership.
Have you had any of these? The first McLaren, the three-seater, yeah.
He might as well. He's got another year to wait before the 2-year restoration is complete on his DB6.
This is a DB6 Volante that we've got for sale. It's been totally restored.
It's beautiful.
It's a great car, and it's £650,000. I can see someone like yourself's wife driving that car. That is a lady, you know, just how special would that look with a nice lady driving that car?
Anthony's car will probably look this good, but a bit more Bond-like in silver birch.
It's a total rebuild from start to finish. The bodywork, all hand-built, you know, the wings and so on. It's great craftsmanship. So that's done. Paint shop, I believe, within 6 to 8 weeks from now. Engine rebuild, gearbox rebuild, new interior, or they'll probably reupholster. We've got to discuss that.
What supercar deal maker Tom wants to discuss are some luxury alternatives that Anthony could drive away in today.
That's a very special Boxster. That's a Ferrari Daytona 72. That car's £350,000.
This Ferrari 812 Superfast is £275,000. For the price of his DB6 restoration, Anthony could get at least one and some change. But a swap simply isn't going to happen.
If you asked me about classic cars 10 years ago, I had no interest. I think as you get older, you just ways change of life and so on, and it's just something's clicked again with classic cars. So I have more of a passion with the classic cars than the more modern day-to-day car.
You are a petrol head and you're here.
I'm not buying any today. I've spent my budget now. So, but one day I'll be back.